All right, it's 5:30, and I'm going to call this meeting of the Stephenville City Council to order. Start off, Mr. Parr, would you mind leading us off in the pledges, please?
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Texas flag. Allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible. Pardon?
I get choked up with the Texas pledge, too. Thank you, Mr. Parr. Now I'm going to call up Kurt Plaxco, Stephenville Ministries Alliance, to open us in prayer, please.
All right. Let us pray together. Heavenly Father, we ask that you would come and be in this place today. We invoke your name, and we know that all good things come from you. And we know, Lord, that we have been a very blessed people, and so we just want to stop and give you thanks this evening for all that you've done. We ask, God, that you would continue to help us and guide us, because we can't do it without you. We truly need your help with the problems we have in our city and county and state. We need your help. And so I just pray, God, that you would speak to us and help us, help turn our attention to you. Let us keep our eyes upon you. And your word tells us that if we'll keep our eyes upon you, that you will make our paths straight. And so I pray for wisdom for our city council. And pray for wisdom for our city employees and all the staff. We ask, God, that you would keep them safe and watch over them. We thank you for this week that we celebrate our awesome country that you've given us, and we ask, Lord, that you would bless us and help us this week to have a wonderful time of celebration. It's in all your wonderful name we pray, Lord Jesus. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Kurt. Apologize to the troublemakers in the front row over there. Speaking of, if I could, we have a presentation about Upbeat Crusaders.
All right. Do I have to state my name and address?
You don't have to state your address. We can state your name.
Rhea Mars.
Thank you, ma'am.
And thank y'all for allowing us to come tonight. We want to talk to you about the Upbeat Crusaders. We are a public volunteer organization with a 501c3 characterization, and there are four of us. One of us is missing tonight. She's on vacation. I don't know who told her she could go. She didn't ask us, but I'm one. We got Debbie Watson, and we have Donna Wesson. And we are a group that is dedicated, okay, to transforming what it means to be an older adult in Stephenville and Erath County. I know that nobody in here qualifies for that, but we do. So that's what we want to do. And we want to partner with, quit laughing at me. We want to partner with the city council, with Parks and Recreation, with any other advisory boards or businesses. We don't care. Any organizations that we can partner with in order to help the city accomplish the things that they want to see. We want to see a better lifestyle, a more fulfilling lifestyle for our older adults. So we're seeking, fun, recreation to cultivate new generations, because they're coming. And we want to see positive and social and educational activities in engagements in the center and here in Stephenville. So we're going to work towards that goal. We will be raising money, probably not the kind of money y'all talk about, but money that we can involve, things that we can increase our activities and broaden our horizons with our activities that we're going so that we can promote positive minds and attitudes and bodies, and we want to envelop the entire person. So we're embracing those upbeat lifestyles. That's why we're the Upbeat Crusaders. And we want to help others do that as well. So everyone in here is growing older. We're all taking that journey. And it is a journey, not always what we planned it to be. But our goal is that we can provide those things that make it a more fulfilling way to grow older, that we can live life to the fullest, that we can, live the best life that is possible for us. And that being said, with the new center being built in the city park, we want to see the park become the hub of the social life for the community, and that includes all of Erath County, not just Stephenville, and all ages. I don't know why we can't combine with, the kids and the young adults and have a lot of fun together. We have the rec hall, we've got playgrounds, we've got ball fields, we've got the swimming pool. We have so many opportunities that we don't think they're being lived to their very fullest. So our goal is to make those things happen here in our city. We just want to help. We want to be part of the solution to the problem. So we're here not to take over, not to step in, not to step on anybody's toes. If you don't want us, just tell us go away. We won't take it gracefully, but we will go away. Because once we set our minds to something, we're kind of hard-headed on it. Darren's over there going,
Steadfast.
Right, steadfast, that's a good word, yes. So we just want to offer to be that extra resource, that extra person that can be there to help y'all do what you want to do and what you want to accomplish. So at this point, we did give y'all a brochure. I've got brochures for anybody out here who wants one. But we want to thank you for your support of our organization so that we can all become a team and we can become part of what y'all want to accomplish and as well. So that's kind of a broad overview. So if anybody has anything they want to ask, we'll try to answer.
No? Fantastic. Thank you so much
All
for
right,
coming tonight.
thank you very much.
Thank y'all for continuing staying involved. Thank you.
We're working hard to get rid of it, if the truth were known.
Next item is citizens' general discussion. We don't have anything, so we'll move on down to consider approval of selection of local newspaper for legal publications pursuant to section 2051.049 of the government code.
Yes, sir. Mr. Mayor Pro Tem, members of council, for years and years and years, all my years, the paper of record designated by the city council has been the Stephenville Empire Tribune. Over the last several years, that has gotten to be problematic as they were no longer locally owned and their offices have moved and they don't have a presence in Stephenville anymore. And as the city, we do a large amount of public notices, plus we depend on coverage at our city council meetings and other governmental meetings to help keep our citizens informed. And so there are laws in Texas that govern how a paper of record is designated. And so staff has worked with Mr. Thomas and reviewed those laws, and he's agreed that we were in a position to look at doing something different. And so we went over and met with Paul and Wendy at the Dublin Citizen. And so after visiting with them, staff would make a recommendation to council that we change and adopt the Dublin Citizen as our paper of record. And even though it's not in the city, it is in the county, it's locally owned. And I think we get a better service on our public notices as well as just general coverage of governmental activities by the city.
Any questions for Mr. King?
Yes, sir.
Can I speak?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
If you wouldn't mind coming up here.
Sure.
If you wouldn't mind stating your name and address.
Paul Gaudet of Dublin.
Okay.
Do you need a street address? It's okay. When we were approached by Jason, this is obviously nothing we were thinking about, but whenever we were hearing some of the issues being that they were having getting operations done and realizing some of the coverage that needs to be done here, I can't promise that I can. I can't promise that I can be there for absolutely everything. But at the very least, the one thing I told Jason is that if we were going to go forward with this, I promise that I will go for coverage of city council and city activities. I will extend myself to try to be as good as I can. My wife, Wendy, is the other editor of the newspaper. We both have 17 years of experience with, in the news industry. Think we stand by our reputation. We always try to be fair, balanced. Our biggest concern is getting information out that people need.
Thank you. So Mr. Gaudet?
Yeah.
Does anybody have any questions for Mr. Gaudet while he's up? Thank you, sir. Questions for Jason?
Mr. King, are we required by state law to post certain things as far as meetings and contracts and things like that?
We do a tremendous amount of public notices, and with the way our current system is and working with the Empire Tribune, it's backed us up so far on their deadline requirements, weeks, that the city sometimes has to move quicker than what we're able to post, and so it's starting to delay, whether that's bids from the city or public notices on zoning changes, and so this is gonna work out a lot better for us.
Okay. It's your belief that Mr. Gadet will be able to comply with the requests that we have in a more timely manner and be able to publish those notices?
Well, so I guess to sum that up, when we were meeting, and we were, Mr. Killen was there and Ms. Tina Cox, and we were talking about scheduling on like, public notices. And Paul said, well, if you get it to me Monday afternoon, you run it.
The week of.
But it's like Wednesday or Thursday or
Yeah,
something like
or
that.
Thursday.
And they didn't quite hear that because of the way that we're having to operate down. They said, okay, so if we get it to you Monday, it'll go the following, like the week after. And he said, no, I'm talking like 2 days. And so, they were, to say they were happy is a bit of an understatement.
Yes.
Because that certainly meets the city's needs a lot better and will allow us, I think, to serve our citizens both just on the general public notice requirements, but when we're doing property notifications and things like that, it's just gonna really make it much more efficient.
So to be clear, Jason, you're saying that we can't get that kind of service from the Empire Tribune?
That's correct.
Mr. King, does it have to be a physical paper?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And what are the, excuse me, the current days that the paper go out here? I mean, I hate to say this, but I mean, we don't see the newspaper that often here anymore. So, what days are they going through publication?
You talking about the
The Empire Tribune, yes.
Saturdays?
Just Saturdays?
Yes, sir.
Okay, and what are we doing in Dublin?
Thursdays.
Thursdays?
It's on racks every Wednesday.
So it's 1 day a week as well?
Yeah.
Okay.
And is there any distribution issues at all? I mean, do you have a bunch of people in Stephenville already that have subscriptions?
Yes.
Okay.
Whenever Wendy joined, we started covering more county. She's there at every county commissioner meeting, and we try to extend as far as we can. If somebody has anything they want out in the county, we make ourselves available.
Approximately how many papers do you run a week?
So it's always a little difficult going with the subscription thing, but
We're gonna go with 1,500, that does not include our digital base, that's just print.
Okay.
And I believe you told me you are now the paper of record for the county and then every school district?
yes, to our
As far
knowledge.
as we know.
Because, all the notices that all last ran came with us.
Jason, do you know what the weekly print run is for the Empire Tribune?
No, sir.
Or how many subscriptions they have?
I don't, but I know from when I see it, this, like, the stuff we're talking about tonight, I'll probably see it 2 or 3 weeks from now,
Okay.
so.
So on the 1,500, that's not the ones that are, that I can go up to the gas station and buy? That's, that you're delivering to somebody's house?
Those are
1,500.
subscriptions, yes ma'am.
Okay.
Okay.
Any other questions?
Mr. Mayor, I'd make a motion that we approve staff's recommendation to appoint Dublin Citizen as the local newspaper for legal publication purposes.
Second.
All right, got a first from Mr. Nix and a second from Brandon here. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you very much. Next on the list is reallocation of funds for Chamberlain Improvements Project. Does that be you again, Mr. King?
Yes, sir.
You're just gonna talk the rest of this time?
No, sir.
Oh, okay.
But I did tell Mr. Williams I would handle this part. So we have drainage issues all over the city, but we have one that's at an acute point in the 900 block of Chamberlain, and it's been that way for some time. And Nick has been over backwards helping the resident in that area that's kind of been the most affected. But it's gonna require about a $270,000 fix to make that happen. As you know, the stormwater fund doesn't really generate, those kind of revenues still. But as part of the project, it's going to require that a sewer line be replaced as part of the project. So that would allow utility funding to help take on the lion's share of that. This year, we had budgeted about $1.3 million in improvements out at the wastewater treatment plant. He's not gonna be able to accomplish a large portion of that just with timing and those sorts of things. So what I would ask you guys to consider is reallocating about $300,000 that was in that wastewater treatment plant capital fund for this year and reallocate those to his storm or other utility capital fund so that he can get this project and get it accomplished before we get back into the wet season in the fall.
Any questions for Mr. King?
300,000, like just straight across the board?
Yes, ma'am.
Is this gonna be done via contract, or will you city employees?
No, he'll scope a project. He's kind of started in that direction. And then in the coming weeks, we'll be able to come to the Public Works Committee with a recommendation and those sort of things. We'll do it as a contract piece.
Okay, and the funds that we reallocate will be reimbursed to the wastewater fund next year?
I think we'll have a larger conversation about that as we pick up in budget with the stormwater fund.
Okay.
And the rate study that's currently going on there.
Okay.
Anything else? Pleasure of the council.
Mr. Mayor, I'd make a motion that we approve the reallocation of $300,000, is that right, Mr. King?
Yes, sir.
From the wastewater treatment plant fund to address the drainage issue that he's found in the Chamberlain area.
Second.
We have a motion from Mr. Nix and a second from Mrs. Durfee. Any other discussion? All those in favor? Perfect. Next is consider emergency repairs to Cedar Street. Oh. Thank you.
Mr. Mayor Pro Tem, Council. So it's hot, it's dry, it's dusty, but it was only just about 30 days ago that we had those massive rains that came through and washed out a good section of Cedar Street. In the agenda, you've got my staff report. It shows even some photographs at the bottom of that shows the pavement just came clean off of that same area. Now, this is the area where we replaced the culverts just a year ago as well. And so that water that comes through there is, significant is the right word. What I'd ask the council to do is to approve the emergency repairs to that area, which would provide a concrete cap over that area, very similar to the Long Street low water crossing. And that will prevent this pavement from coming off again like you see in these photographs. We did solicit a couple of quotes, but we've only received 2 numbers back, and it took a while just to get a second quote. Our low bid, our low estimate came from Cruz Hernandez Concrete Construction for $42,688. Now, we do have $50,000 for maintenance in our stormwater maintenance account. And it will use a good, all of that $50,000, I'm sorry, $42,688 of that $50,000 to make this happen. But we do need to get this done because we just don't know when that rain's gonna happen again. I saw today there's a hurricane that may create some more rains that come through. Now, we need them because it is so hot and dry, but that's why we want to proceed as an emergency, because we just don't know when it's gonna happen.
Any questions for Mr. Williams?
Yes, sir. Mr. Williams, in your opinion, is the proposed concrete low water crossing, I'm gonna call it, because that's what you did.
Yes, sir.
Will that prevent the erosion and the potential for a washout like we had this time that would close the road again?
Yes, sir. So it will function much like the Longstreet low water crossing, and so it won't keep the water from going over the road. That's a much larger scope project, but it will certainly allow that road to be opened up should we have rains like that again,
Okay, and then be passable once the runoff goes through?
once the water subsides. Yes, sir.
Okay.
How long is this project estimated to take?
I would estimate this project to take approximately a week, with the majority of that being the curing time for the concrete itself.
Now, currently, right now, this is closed down completely. correct?
No, it's passable now. We
Is
did
it
put it
passable
back
now?
together, but it is in base, very similar to what you see here. The street department did show up. We did pack that with base, and we've got it as sturdy as we can for the moment. But it's very vulnerable at the moment as well.
How long? Go ahead, I'm sorry.
So for that week, it's gonna be completely shut down?
What we're gonna try to do is do it in sections, so we'll do one side first, and then flip-flop and do the other half as well. So we'll work with the contractor to get that out, to get that game plan just as good as we can. If it's wide enough, that's exactly what we wanna do to keep it open. If not, then we'll make provisions to close it down and then open it all up at one time.
And is there a way that we can let people that are, to get to their homes going over this, that we can let them know, like a start date or?
Absolutely,
something like that,
yes.
to where-
We'll put that out on social media like we did when we closed it down the first time.
Right.
And so,
And the Dublin paper.
and the Dublin paper now, yes. Very excited about that.
Okay.
Mr. Williams,
Yes, sir.
how long ago was it that the culverts were put in?
I think it was only a year ago that we worked with the county to get those culverts put in.
Was, was that under an engineering design to put those in, or this is kind of off the rack type of thing?
It was an emergency as well, and so
Okay.
there was no formal design done, but we did select the largest culverts we could fit in that area.
Okay?
It would have taken a much, much bigger
To
project.
handle this kind of flood?
Absolutely, yes, sir.
It was an off-the-rack kind of thing. The engineer solution's about $6.5 million.
Hmm. Okay. All right, well, thank you.
What he said, yes, sir.
These all things, I mean, they all fit into the decision-making process, you know?
Yes, sir.
And everything like that, because we're talking about another $42,000 on it, and everything like that. But if it was gonna cost $6.5 million to begin with.
Yes, sir.
and we didn't spend that kind of money to do it, so a cap may be absolutely best possibility that we've got to
Yes,
solve
sir.
this problem. Okay?
Just-
Thank you.
Just out of curiosity, what's the estimated traffic count on that daily?
That's a great question. I don't know what the estimated traffic count is, but I'm sure that we have some data I can
Go
go
ahead,
over
ju-
to you.
I was just wondering, if you wouldn't
I-
mind. You can text that to me
I
later.
think it would surprise you.
Very good.
No, I mean, I know, we used to, go up and down that street all the time growing up, so I know there's lots of cars going up and down
It
there,
is one of
so.
those roads that is surprising because it looks to be very rural, but once
Mhm.
you get out there and you start making these repairs, you see the traffic, and it's more than what you would think it would be while you were there.
Mhm.
Any other questions? It's a pleasure of the council.
I make the motion that are we accepting the estimate from?
Yes.
Creek? Okay, then I make the motion that we accept the estimate from Cruz Hernandez Concrete Construction Company for the emergency repairs for Cedar Street.
Second.
We have a motion from Ms. Surfy and a second from Mr. Cook. Any other discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Thank you, Ms. Williams.
Yes, sir.
All right, moving on down the road, you're gonna be Steve today as well?
Yes, sir.
All right, so, case number RZ 2024-008, applicant Trace Property Investments LLC is requesting a rezone of property located at 978 Old Hika Road, being parcel R17600 80196. I don't know how, Dufay?
Dupai.
There we go. John B. House Storage and Mobile Home Site of the city of Steenville, Erath County, Texas, from retail and commercial B2 to multifamily residential R3.
Yes, sir. So this case was heard at Planning and Zoning on June 19th, 2024. The developer is wanting to rezone from B2 over to multifamily and propose, I believe, apartments in that area. And again, that land is currently zoned B2. The future land use currently shows it B2, but there are other multifamily sites have been added specifically right next door and in this area. The Planning and Zoning Commission, after hearing this case, made a unanimous recommendation to City Council to approve the rezone request.
Okay, any questions for Mr. King? Okay, here now, I'm gonna open this up for public hearing. Is there anyone who would like to come speak in favor or against this? Hearing none, I will close the public hearing. And I will consider approval of ordinance rezoning of property located at 978 Old Hika Road, being parcel R17600 A0196 of Dupai. So proud of you, aren't you, Ms. Wesson? John B. House Storage Mobile Home Site of the city of Steenville, Erath County, Texas, from retail and commercial to multifamily residential.
What's the ordinance number, Ruby?
2024-0-16.
Mr. Mayor, or Mr. Mayor Pro Tem, I move that we adopt ordinance number 2024-0-16 as presented for the rezoning.
Second.
All right, we have a first from Mr. Greenhall and a second from Mr. Cook. Any other discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Moving on, Mr. Nix.
Jason, you want to present this one too?
No, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor Pro Tem. The Public Works Committee met to discuss the proposal from Pipeline Analysis for the sanitary sewer basin evaluation. This is the last of our evaluations for the basins that we have established in an effort to comply with TCEQ requirements. After discussion, it was a unanimous recommendation from the committee to accept the agreement from Pipeline Analysis to perform the evaluation of sanitary sewer basin 4 South. And the money is allocated in this year's budget, and it came in slightly under that, and it is an approximately 120-day process. So we should be able, once approved and get them started, to get this done before the end of the year. I would make the motion to accept the proposal from Pipeline Analysis to perform the evaluation of sewer basin 4 South.
Second.
All right, I have a motion from Mr. Nix and a second from Mr. Greenhall. Any other discussion? Oh, proceed to vote. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Perfect, thank you, sir.
That's the end of my committee report, Mr. Mayor Pro Tem.
Thank you very much. Mr. Cook?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor Pro Tem. The Development Services Committee met, and 2 items primarily were discussed. One was The issue with regard to the building on Wolf Nursery Road and the decision by the council brought up a question to look at the entire type B2 zoning. And so one of the things that we looked at was that particular issue was with regard to an automobile paint and body repair. There are a lot of automobile repair shops and other things that are listed in the B2, but this particular thing is not listed in B2. And so we wanted to look into that, discuss that, and discuss it. Maybe if we need to be looking at not particularly adding this to that zoning, but to look and see if it is added, if that should be one that would come back to the council, or that maybe it is best to change multiple things within that zoning category. So with that, the committee decided to consider this again and consider this at the next meeting too with additional information. So that will come up for the committee meeting in mid-July. And we will again discuss the zoning, B2 zoning as permitted in any conditional uses that might be allowed within that particular zoning. The second thing, on the recommendation of Steve Killen, the committee voted to recommend to the council that we do a technical, frankly, technical revision to section 155.6.20.H.1 of the subdivision ordinance with regard to fees for parkland dedication. Right now you can, it is actually designated what the fees would be within the, for houses or apartments within the subdivision ordinance, instead of it being within the fees that are set by the council on an annual basis. And so basically the proposal that the committee voted unanimously to recommend to the council was to change this to have it align with the fees that the council annually adopts. And so we have an ordinance to that effect. And I would like to move that ordinance number 2024-0- pardon? 17. An ordinance amending the subdivision ordinance of the city of Stephenville, section 155.5.20, parkland design, dedication, and fees, subsection H.1, dedication, payment in lieu of land provision, determining the amount of payment. And basically, to skip down through it instead of the rest of the legalese, I'm assuming I don't have to do that, that any payment of money required to be paid shall be as follows. Single-family residential structures shall pay the amount specified by the city's most recently adopted ordinance establishing fees for service. Multifamily would be the same. So, move that we approve this particular ordinance, changing the way we collect those fees for parkland dedication.
Second that.
Motions made by Mr. Cook and seconded by Mr. Nix. Is there any further discussion? We'll proceed to vote. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you. All right. I'm sorry, does that conclude your report?
It does.
Thank you, Mr. Cook. All right, nominations committee, we're going to go ahead and move to the August 6th meeting. Next is that's me. Sorry. Finance committee. All right. On June 18th, 2024, the finance committee met. Myself, Mr. Cook, and Mr. Greenhall were present. Staff requested approval of the purchase of the ClearGov Digital ACFR Civic Edition. The City of Steenville contracts with ClearGov for transparency, capital budgeting, and digital budget book. The digital annual comprehensive financial report Civic Edition will cost $24,330 for January 1st, 2025 to September 30th, 2028. The motion was made and seconded to positively recommend the purchase of ClearGov Digital ACFR Civic Edition, and the motion passed unanimously. That being said, I will make the motion to approve the purchase of the ClearGov Digital ACFR Civic Edition.
Second.
I can't make that motion, right, Randy?
Yes.
Okay. All right, motion's been made, and Mr. Cook was second. Any other discussion?
Mr. Mayor Pro Tem, is that a single cost, or is that an annual cost for those 3 years?
Monica?
That's the total cost for the 3 years and 9 months.
Okay.
And we did get our discount, right, for signing up early?
We did.
All right.
We got a 30% discount on it.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. All right. All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you very much. Mike, it's your turn again.
Mayor Pro Tem, Council. This is the budget review for the period ending May 31st, 2024. Our financial indicators are overall as or better than we anticipated. We received $44,000 in property taxes in the month of May, which has resulted in $269,000 increase over the funds collected last fiscal year to date. We're at about 100% of our budget, and that's about $73,000 more than we had anticipated. We received $835,000 in sales tax in May, resulting in $154,000 or 2% more than the funds collected last fiscal year to date. The amount collected is about 70% of our budget, and that's about $458,000 higher than anticipated. Of the $33.8 million revenue received to date, 58% was received in our general fund, 24% was received in our water wastewater fund, 8% was received in our capital projects fund, and 3% was received in our landfill fund. We've received 77% of the total budget revenues through May, which is about $2.8 million more than anticipated due to taxes, building permits, intergovernmental charges for services, and interest income. And we received $1.4 million less revenue through May than last fiscal year to date, and that has to do with debt proceeds that we received last year that we're not repeating, obviously, this year. Of the $37.4 million spent today, 48% was expended in the water wastewater fund, 38% was expended in the general fund, 4% was expended in our capital projects fund, 3% was expended in the debt service fund, and 2% was expended in the stormwater drainage fund and also in the landfill fund. We've expended 47% of the total budget expenditures through May, which is $15.2 million less than anticipated. That's due to personnel, contractual maintenance, capital outlays, and some of our transfers. We've spent $1.6 million less in expenditures than last fiscal year to date, and that's mainly due to capital outlay, some grant disbursements, and some transfers. CETA has received an overall 74% of their budgeted revenue through May. That's 20,000 more than last fiscal year to date, and 77,000 more than anticipated due to taxes and interest income. CETA has spent an overall 23% of budgeted expenditures through May. That's 78,000 less than last fiscal year to date due to grant disbursements, and 750,000 less than anticipated due to contractual capital outlay and grant disbursements. Are there any questions?
Any questions for Monica? Thank you very much. All right. Guess I can't skip this. Jeff? How are you, sir?
I'm great. I'm really good. It's good to see you guys. Thank y'all for allowing us a few moments here. And I'd like to congratulate council and staff for the tremendous fiscal responsibility and oversight that you guys have. Monica and everybody, Jason, you guys do a great job. I mean, it's really impressive. And same with council for your oversight. Pretty exciting stuff going on. We've talked about the 4th coming up. And so I have some kid jokes or dad jokes that you asked me to have 1 or 2 available. So the first one is, what did the Texas flag say to the American flag? Nothing, they just waved. Thank you for that. Okay. Last one, thank God. Why are there no knock-knock jokes about America? No knock-knock jokes about America. Because freedom rings! Okay, sorry. All right. A couple of birthdays for us. Anybody remember the show Alice, Polly Holiday? She had her grits kissed on this day in 1937. She's 87 years old. Richard Petty has a birthday. He's 87. It turns out when he was born, his mom had to do laps around the hospital. Anyway, sorry about that. We'll skip that one. Oh, if you're a baseball fan, 1964, 60 years old, Jose Canseco. You may not have known he's a twin. His brother, Jose, was also born on that day. They're 60 years old.
It's Ozzy is his name, actually.
It is. I'm sorry. You're the only one who would know that, but didn't have any more cool birthdays or other cool things going on, so we looked at deaths. It's on this day. Yeah, I know, we're really digging deep here. Nostradamus died on this day in 1566. He probably did not see that coming. I'm just going to skip the rest of those. Those aren't very good. We're pretty excited. Since I visited with you guys last, we've been to 3 different places. One was Vegas. I know the mayor talked about that in our absence last time. We had an opportunity to go to for a recruitment event. There are about 30,000 people there, and we got to present ourselves in front of as many people as we possibly could. Had about 20 or 30, 25 appointments that were set up along the way there. And in doing so, it's difficult when you have 30,000 plus people, so we also contracted with a company to do some geofencing. We wanted to get the Stephenville name out to as many people as possible, and in doing so, we were able to have, we used the phones, so everybody have their phone with them, and you know how sometimes in your different games and so forth that you play, an ad pops up and so forth. Well, our ads were about Stephenville, and we were able to get 97,000 of those out to people as they were around this event. So we were very, very excited about that. We had about 69,000 that went to mobile phones, about 13,000 to tablets, and another 15,000 to computers or laptops, those kinds of things. Interestingly, they popped up on various apps that you may or may not even think that they would pop up. You're thinking you're at an economic development conference with all of these people from all over the country, and the number 1 place that it popped up was in Solitaire, interestingly. Number 2 was something called Text Free. I don't even know what that is. Y'all may know what that is, but USA Today was the 3rd one. Woodoku, I've seen that one. Yeah. Yeah, thank you. That popped up. And then the Detroit Free Press, weirdly, was the one that it popped up on. But it doesn't really matter where it pops up as long as it pops up and says Stephenville. Every time we get our name out there to that many people, they're just going to be more and more comfortable with our name whenever they see us or whatnot. So it really was exciting. We also had a pretty good opening rate above the national average in terms of their click-throughs. It's not a lot of people, but they see the name over and over and over, and that sure helps. So very, very exciting stuff. Went to College Station for a little bit and got some information from us or for us. Did you know that there are about 784 different places that have EDCs in the state of Texas out of 1,246 cities, and we're all competing and doing different things in different ways. We're competing, but we're trying to get our name out there and do different things for our communities. And I was and by the way, when I left College Station, I did not immediately go to Austin, as some people do. But that's okay. We came here and got this information that basically said, sorry, David. Sorry, Mr. Temporary Mayor.
That baseball coach, I tell you.
Yeah, but we got a new one today, so it's all right. It's all good, and everybody's happy. Sorry, we digress. In this deal, we talked a lot about visioning statements and people that are doing things long term and trying to set up their EDCs to help their communities in coalition with the cities and so forth. And so many of them, we start talking about visioning and other kinds of things that we're doing. And, people start harnessing this and manifesting that and putting all these fluffy things. And it was interesting whenever they asked about their vision statements, everybody said, oh yeah, I have one. And they pulled out their phone and started trying to find it on their website and everything. If your vision, all that a vision is to aspire to be, that's what you're trying to aspire to. It's the absolute pinnacle of what you want your organization to be. And so ours is just very simple. It's to be the most positive, impactful organization on the planet. And now that doesn't fit anybody's definition of how you put together a vision statement. But if we're not doing that, if that's not our goal, then we shouldn't be in this business at all. And so fortunately, the results of what we've done have spoken for themselves in terms of trying to reach out there and impact our community. I think you see that with the sales tax receipts. You see that with the opening businesses, the lack of closed businesses, in our workforce piece. And in our workforce, one of the things that we've done, we've talked for months about our career club and a career academy. And Mr. Cook was at our very first meeting back in September when we met with parents and kids and teachers and so forth about our career club. And we've spoken about it nearly every month to this group about what has happened and transpired. And I just wanted, we completed the career academy and all of that for the first year in May. And some of the things that have come out here, and I'm going to protect some names and protect the companies, but here are some of the quotes from some of our people after we completed the program and they started interviewing our kids. One said, I wanted to reach out and let you know that we have hired one of your students. He will be starting with us this week as a welder. He was very professional and filled out our new hire paperwork like a champ. We've had welders with years of experience unable to pass our test, and he passed it on the first try. We're so excited to have him on our team. He will be an asset to us, and we hope he finds us equally as beneficial for his career goals. Another one said, I wanted to check in and share some fantastic news. Such and such came in and interviewed with me a couple of weeks ago, took a test last week, and just finished filling out his new hire paperwork. He's going to make a great employee with us, and we are very impressed with his professionalism throughout the whole process. He even passed his test on his very first try. Thank you to the SHS Career Club and to CETA for truly giving these students a leg up once they hit the job market. I look forward to the opportunity to work with you all again next year. Another one, we made an offer to one of your career club kids today and he accepted. By the way, I was told he was dressed and interviewed very well. Nice job. Another one, the level of engagement from the kids today was amazing. We had Tarleton's dairy manufacturing class in on Monday and the high school kids blew them out of the water with questions, level of engagement, and professionalism. The leaders really enjoyed the interaction with them. All of these were hired. And by the way, as an aside to this, we now have with our people, with our businesses that we are partnering with, we have got a commitment now for 100% hiring of our kids that go through this program from here forward. This last year we had 36. And I should clarify, 100% offers because, obviously they have to accept those, but 100% offers to all the kids that go through our Career Club and Career Academy program. We start to impact the kids in a different way. We're not just having career fairs where people go down and look at these tablecloth tables and get free stuff off the tables. They're actually making an impact grabbing these. You saw the very first one. And so 10 months later, I just wanted to give you this news that now we've got companies that are saying they're so good, they're better than other people that we have to interview, and now we're hiring every single one. We'll put an offer to every single one. Yeah, so next year, who knows how many we'll have in the class. With that news, they may have 50 or 60 people, and all of a sudden we're making an impact on the local employment efforts here. So those are some of the big things. Ashley, did I leave anything out of what we talked about earlier? I don't know. Okay, well, I wish everybody a July 4th happiness and so forth. So.
Well, speaking of the workforce program, we actually received an award, 2024 Workforce Excellent Award, merit recognition presented to Stephenville Economic Development Authority for a population size between 15,000 and 40,000. So I'd like to give this to you, and thank you so much for everything you did.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right. Next on the item would be considering approval of the consent agenda.
Mr. Mayor Pro Tem, I move that we approve consent agenda as presented.
Second.
Got a motion from Mr. Greenhouse, second by Mr. Nix. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Comments by city manager?
Mr. Mayor Pro Tem, Council, tomorrow, July 3rd, from 11 to 2, we have a pre-4th of July cookout for city staff and council and everybody's families. That'll happen down in the city park where the RV spaces used to be, so everybody come by. And then, of course, Thursday, July 4th, all of our festivities kick off at 9 a.m. with the parade and different things throughout the day, and end up with our concerts in the park that evening, and then our fireworks show. Next Monday, July 8th, we will have a groundbreaking ceremony for our new building in the city park.
And all of you will be there, right?
Absolutely.
So everybody put that on your calendar, 10:30 next Monday. And then July 18th at 5, the city will be hosting a Chamber of Commerce mixer downtown at the Cross Timbers Fine Arts Council. And that's all I have, sir.
Thank you, sir. Leanne?
I have a couple of things. First off, I would like to congratulate our amazing police department for winning the Texas Best Police Unit Contest. If you haven't seen the new car, drive by the department or just see it around in town. It looks really, really good. And the design of it was done by, I'm probably gonna mess this up, 3 students from the junior high, I think. Correct. I think is what I was told. Okay. And then with the start of July, that also starts the major rodeo summer run. We have so many contestants from this area that are fixing to take the name of Stephenville all over to major rodeos, so safe travel. All of them have safe travels and bring home lots of buckles and money. And then lastly, I'd like to congratulate J.J. Hampton, who is the epitome of rodeo in Erath County and Stephenville, for she is going to be inducted into the Cowgirl Hall of Fame. So, and everybody come out to the July 4th stuff. That's all I've got.
Thank you. Gerald?
Well, I mean, how can we beat that? I mean,
Sorry.
that was really great.
Place 1 has some advantages.
At least you're at 2.
It absolutely does. No, I just echo everything Leanne has said, and Jason for that matter. And July 4th rolls around every year, and every year it seems to get better in Stephenville, and we need to take advantage of it. It's going to be a huge parade, and if you're a spectator for the parade, you know, you see the people around you and all that kind of stuff, and the parade comes by and candy gets thrown out and things like that. If you're in the parade, and those of you who go to the parade and are part of the parade, you see how many kids who are actually here. And we're talking thousands. I was so shocked the first time. I mean, gosh, I bet you, I don't know what it is, 10, 15,000 kids. I have never seen so many in my life. And I didn't know we had that many kids. I really didn't. I mean, they come from everywhere. And it's really great to have that many people in town. It's really great to see all those fun faces out there. And then follow that up with all of the July 4th festivities and the concerts and things like that. This is really a neat place to be. Really neat place. I encourage everyone to come out in the heat and enjoy, because it's there, and that's what July 4th is all about. It's to celebrate this country. That's all I have.
Thanks, sir. Dean?
I want to thank the Upbeat Crusaders. I think what you are doing is awesome. I wish we would get more groups out doing what you ladies do. I know how persistent y'all can be, and happy to have y'all doing that group. Secondly, a big shout out to Ashley Thomas of Main Street and Daryl Brown for organizing the cleanup downtown the other day. We had a decent turnout. I had to leave before we got finished, but what I saw looked fantastic. So, huge thank you to them. I wish we could get more people to turn out for those cleanups, because it helps immensely. And congratulations to the police department on the award, and that's all I have.
I'm gonna speak for Maddie real fast. She told me to say these things. Sign-ups are underway for flag football and volleyball. Applications are on the website. She wants to thank you again for city admin, Parks Department for organizing the 4th festivities. And then she really wanted me to say happy 4th birthday to Carter Kate Smith. So everyone tell her daughter happy birthday next time you see her. Brandon?
I'd like to say Happy Independence Day today. Congratulations to our police department on their award, and to Jeff on his award that he got for CETA. And see y'all at the parade and down at the park this week.
Mr. Nix?
Mr. Mayor Pro Tem, I'd like to brag on all of our city employees just a little bit. We've got an exemplary group of employees here. Specifically, I want to brag on Nick's crew that was able to repair Cedar Street and get it back open. I know that was a huge inconvenience for the people that live out there and try to travel. It's a temporary repair, but they were able to accomplish that and get that road open in a really short period of time, considering the adverse conditions they were working under. I'd also like to say something about the Lockhart Road improvements. That's been a collaboration with the city and several other organizations, and being able to complete that and finish that project and go ahead and have everything taken care of is huge. It's another step that this council, being proactive, has made to start opening up some extra areas in the city for development, improving traffic flow, improving safety of traffic flow. It's significant that we have as many dedicated and hardworking employees as we do. The work that they do goes largely unreported. That's going to be better now, I think. I hope that it will be, but I wanted to tell them that we as a council appreciate them for what they do for the citizens and for the city, and how much that means to us, knowing that those things are taken care of and well taken care of. Maybe that's the way to say it.
Absolutely, thank you. We have a great staff, great directors. Very fortunate to have everyone that we have in our organization, for sure. All right, in compliance with the provisions of the Texas Open Meetings Law, Subchapter D, Government Code, Vernon's Texas Codes, annotated in accordance with Section 551074, personnel matters to deliberate the appointment, employment, evaluation, reassignment, duties, discipline, or dismissal of public officer or employee, to wit, executive assistant to the city manager. We will stand in recess at this moment. It's 6:46, and I'll call the Stephenville City Council back in order. Are there any items that need to be discussed from executive session?
Mr. Mayor Pro Tem, I would make the motion that we accept the proposed salary adjustment for the city administrator's executive assistant as proposed.
Second.
Got a motion from Mr. Nix, a second from Mr. Parr. Any other discussion? Move on to vote. All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you, and we will stand adjourned at 6:46.